Hello, good evening, it's Paul. It's April 1st, 2021, and I honestly think this is basically a real April Fool's Day this year. Anyway, it was been in the 70s for last week, and then it came through last night. It dropped to 36. Tonight it's going in the 20s. Anyway, I'm just preparing everybody for the night tonight. We're going to try a couple of things. I'm going to go over a little bit of progress that I've made so far, and then I'll show you what we're doing for tonight, tomorrow night, and the following night, when it's going to be in the 20s and 30s for 3 nights here in Georgia. This is pretty cool for April 1st. It's a real April Fool's Day joke. Anyway, I've covered the plants out here with frost covering, and then I'm covering with plastic on top of that. The plastic is actually blowing off this one here, so I'm going to need to actually come back through, weight it down, make sure it's okay. Anyway, that one there is covered. Everything is fine there. Anyway, I'll get an update on the temperatures and post it in the video. Inside here, I've actually put down the frost netting, covering everything here in the house, in the greenhouse. I've got the frost netting down there for what I call the greenhouse south bed. It does a pretty good job. It seems to keep it about 3 to 4 degrees warmer than the rest of the greenhouse. On the north side, I not only put the frost netting down, but I also covered it with plastic. And I used from the old greenhouse that I purchased that had the green cover. I actually used the metal from that to actually kind of hold it off the plants, give it an idea to see how it's doing. The only plants that are not protected are these 2 plants here. This is chocolate mint and lemon, and both of those plants actually survived outside all last winter, so I think they'll make tonight okay. For this evening, just as a trial run, I ran an extension cord out from the house, and I'm running a heater. I'm going to probably set it on definitely not 75. Let's just see if I can keep it to 48 degrees in here. I don't want it to run pretty much non-stop. I'll come out and check it tonight and see what's there. I put it on a concrete block, and I'm going to relocate this plastic from it a little bit farther to make sure that there's no conflict. I'll put a piece of wood in between there. But anyway, it's a space heater designed for indoor use. I think with the loss of the plastic, I don't think that's going to help too much. Anyway, progress since the last video. I have gotten a 3,000 RPM fan, put the 1,700 RPM fan there, put the what I'm calling the fan manifold up there, and I've actually attached it. Since the last video, I've actually installed 2 1,700 RPM fans here. I just put this cover on here to cover it, but for tonight I'm just going to lay a blanket up against there because this is completely wide open. The wind can blow in there. I put another one of those fan manifolds right there. But anyway, this blanket will rest up against there. On the outside, I actually installed some metal vent covers. These are just regular HVAC vent ductwork covers that I ordered off of Amazon. Plan to do exactly the same thing over here. Plan to put 2 1,700 RPM fans out here, and that'll take air in exactly like this way here. And I'll probably do another fan here just to blow on to this shelf, and then I'll do another fan out there to blow out there. But considering that anyway, that's the plans within the next couple of weeks. Just got to make it through tonight, tomorrow night, and the following night, and then on Saturday we're going to be in the 70s and 80s by Sunday. It's a crazy weather that we live in here in North Georgia. Hello, good morning everybody. This is Paul. And anyway, last night was a rough night. Well, it's not really rough in the dead of winter, but it is rough when you've been taunted with the taste of spring, and you've had some very great days in the upper 60s, low 70s, almost 80 degrees, perfect, beautiful days and everything else. And then winter comes back, and April Fool's Day, I'm going to call this the April Fool's Day cold snap of 2021. But anyway, last night was miserable. Anyway, got down to 26.4, I believe. Anyway, I'm going to post the chart of the outside temperatures. And then to explain some of the difficulties we had on the first night of this cold snap. We've only got 2 more to go. Anyway, this is the west bed. I covered it up with plastic and everything else, and below there is the frost netting, and then plastic on top of that. Did a real good job of maintaining the temperature, as the chart right there will show you. It did get down pretty close to freezing, but I'm sure those plants will do fine, because they are covered in because they are actually cold weather plants. In this bed here, I don't have a temperature alarm on this one, or a temperature probe on this one yet. I'm using these Go-E Pros, and they work pretty good. They're, you know, about $15-16 a piece. They work with your smartphone, and they keep all the historical data. That's what I'm using. I need to order another one of those for this bed here. And then we get to the greenhouse. Let's go in and see what we got for the greenhouse here. Okay, I'm running a heater, and I've actually looked at the statistical data of the greenhouse already. And anyway, I was plugging the heater into a smart switch, which for some reason kept shutting off, and I don't know why, but it shut off somewhere around 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then the temperature dropped inside the greenhouse to 28 degrees. It's now back up to 45, although it actually did jump up and down a couple of times. And then the bed temperature went down to 33 degrees. Well, so let's, I'm a little nervous to see what we're going to have once I pull the frost netting away. Well, okay. Well, looks a lot better than it did the last time. My big boy tomato, basil, cucumber plant still looks green. Pepper plant still okay. Pepper plants seem to survive the cold a little bit more than the tomato plants do. I don't really see any major strain on any of the cucumber plants. They look good. The pepper plant's good. That tomato plant looks good. Pepper. Ooh, I got a lot of carrots coming up pretty soon. I didn't do a very good job of distributing the seeds there. This tomato plant is flowering. You know, it looks like it might do okay. Hopefully it'll still produce the tomatoes. Cauliflower plant, pepper plant. So everything looks like it did pretty good underneath this bed. Now this bed just was covered with the frost netting, and it got down to 33 degrees last night. So much more, and we probably would have had problems. So anyway, let's look at this bed here. This bed here is a little bit more involved. In this one here, I actually cover it with the frost netting and then a piece of plastic on top, being the fact that it is the northern bed, and also that I'm running a test to see if the plastic is absolutely necessary, which, if I could get the temperature in here to cooperate, I wouldn't really even need really nothing more than a netting when it gets really cold. Okay, the blueberry plant is doing good. Okay, I really didn't expect any issues out of this bed here, because the peppers seem to do pretty good with the cold weather plant, with the cold weather, and the only one is the tomato plant. That tomato plant survived being actually outside at 26 degrees. Pepper plant, the dill, and the broccoli is a cold weather plant. Ooh, look, the onions are starting to sprout really quickly here. Those are onions there. And the culantro plant. Now, the culantro plant is a Central American plant. It grows like a weed in Central America. It's not really weeding here, but it did survive the night last night, so it's pretty good. So, anyway, even though we had a little bit of a heat failure last night, I guess I should say power failure from the heater, and it did drop to 28 degrees last night, it looks like we're going to be okay on the first night. Last night it was predicted to get down to about 28 degrees. It looked like it settled about 28 degrees. Tonight they're saying 30 to 32. So if it's 32, we don't have anything to do it, but I think we'll probably need to take the same precautions for tonight and tomorrow night. And then at that point, our lows go back up to about 45, so we'll be in better shape. They have changed the weather. Originally, when I looked at it, this is Good Friday today. It's April the 2nd, and they've changed the projections, so Easter Sunday, which is this Sunday, it's only going to get up to, I think it's like 70 something instead of 80. We're going to have to wait till 80 for Wednesday. So constantly changing forecasts. And one of the things I have found already and learned the hard way is whenever they predict lows, you know, give it a few more degrees in your prediction, from their prediction to your preparations, because, you know, a couple of degrees temperature can make a big difference. Now, one of the biggest problems with this particular weather here is it's actually still windy this morning. It's not really very windy, but there is a wind. But the wind chill is probably what caused most of the problems, because the wind's been blowing, at least for a slight breeze, you can hear the wind chime going off for the last 3 days. And so not only the cold, but the wind also helps it. But the wind also prevents some of the frost and the frost damage. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And hope this gives you a great idea on how to grow your greenhouse. And maybe you have a little bit better green thumb than I do.